Do you ever just look at the sun and think, you know, the Truman Show? You think, can you imagine if that was actually real? Like, it could be real, but we wouldn't even know anything about it. Like the sun might not be real. It could just be being moved around. We wouldn't even know anything about it, because when people go, it's science, it's this, it's that, I know it's true. You only actually really truly know something's true if you've seen it with your eyes like that, not on a screen. So let's just go. Let's just jump straight in there. The Earth. This is going to piss people off. This is going to trigger. But I love it. The Earth. How do you know it's a big ball hurling through space? At how many million miles per hour is it? You don't. You just think it is. You trust the people that have told you. I've seen it. There's probably 99% of people have not seen it. Have you flown out into space and looked at the Earth? Have you? Just ask yourself that. That's one example. Most things, have you actually proven it to yourself and seen it for yourself? Or have you seen it on the TV, read about it, someone's told you it? Because that's pretty much most of your life. Which means we could be living the Truman Show. Just saying.
Well, I just wanted to show you this stuff because you can go look it up by yourself. Okay, you can go look it up by this number. This is public information. Here's more. But I will direct your attention to here. Okay? And I will direct your attention to here as well. Here's another one. Earth. I did not put that there. It's on their diagram, buddy. Here's another one. Flat Earth. Okay? Again, you can go print this up on your own. Here we go. Stop being lazy. The information is available. Now, I only printed up the pages that I needed because this comes up. Each file has hundreds of pages. Okay? Here's more. Okay? Here is a CIA document. You can go look it up by this number. Talking about the firmament. Talks about the near sun, flat earth, firmament. Okay. Here's NASA talking about flat, non-rotating earth. NASA, huh? These are documents you can find on your own. Here's another NASA document, which I sent you the link to this one. Flying over a flat, non-rotating earth. And if that's not enough for you, we have the Student Flight Dynamic Handbook that will also tell you Earth is flat and non-rotating. Okay? If that's not enough, we have the FFA. Not talking about the Earth spinning, elliptical orbiting, or flying through the galaxy at all. The globe is dead.
If we really live here, then what would be the motive in lying to us and telling us we live here? Well, first of all, money. And lots of it. Space and space exploration makes trillions of dollars. NASA makes $69 million a day off your tax dollars. That's more than all the McDonald's in the world makes a day, because they only make $63 million. Now that's just the materialist's motive. I think it goes deeper and more spiritual than that. Because we are talking about the Hebrewic, the ancient depictions of Earth, the biblical depictions of Earth. Because modern science would say that the Big Bang created the universe. But think about that. Universe. One verse, one string of words. You see, the Bible says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. He spoke it into existence with just one string of words. And he created a vaulted dome, also known as the firmament. And the new version of Earth doesn't have a firmament. Now, we all know about this guy, Satan, right? He used to be an angel named Lucifer. The whole reason he got cast down from heaven was because he was jealous of God and wanted to be God. And not being able to create a world of his own, he had to pervert what was already created and make his own version, even calling it the universe. One string of words. We were given clues in Revelation 13 of how we could point him out. It says, here is wisdom, the one who has understanding, let him calculate the number of the beast. For it is a man's number, and his number is 666. Here's one example. Man is made of carbon. Carbon is comprised of 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and 6 electrons. This signifies that our material self is finite, and we should live by the Spirit and not by the flesh. We are left with several clues showing us how to find the number of the beast and separate from that. Just like this model here. We got a 23.4 degree tilt on Earth, leaving 66.6 degrees in a 90 degree angle. Not only that, but this elliptical orbit, the Earth actually speeds up and slows down by 666 miles per hour in this orbit. Also, the Earth's curvature, it actually curves at 0.666 feet per mile squared. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. With Satan's perversion, he wants you to open the Bible, begin to read, and see that there's so many contradictions within the first paragraph or two that you just shut it and say, well, this doesn't line up with science. Knowledge truly is power, and if you live in this perverted version, then your mind has become captive. And we have so many people with Stockholm Syndrome who defend that model and allow themselves to stay in the prison of their mind and spirit. As we are trying to make people aware of the biblical depiction of Earth, I'm noticing that this version tries to lie about this one to try to poison the well or create a straw man of this model. You will see them insist that we live on this little flat disk going around the sun with all the other planets, or that we're just a disk floating in space and the sun and the moon just go around it like this. So how come if this is the truth, it can't just fight fair and allow this to be what it is? Allow it to be what we really believe rather than try to poison the well. Well, it's because the demonic forces and principalities that rule this world are liars. Well, you see, the truth is the truth, whether you believe it or not. A lie needs your permission and participation to even exist in your mind. Now, if this were the truth, would it feel the need to lie about this to try to strengthen its argument? No. The last thing that this guy wants you to figure out is that you don't live in his world. You were more than just a sack of flesh that came about by chance and you're just going to rot away with everything else. He thinks he's deceived you all. He thinks when you open the Bible, you're going to see his world rather than the Creator's world. He thinks he's got you all fooled. But we're waking you all up.
Do you believe that all the astronauts died on the Challenger explosion back in 1986? Interesting. You might want to stick around for this video. Do you believe it because you witnessed it on TV with your very own eyes? Well, did you happen to see the rocket booster seemingly being remote controlled in the pattern it designed? That looked an awful lot like their favorite number 6. Maybe you believe it because you went to the launch and you saw this rocket taking its perfectly balloon-like path. Or maybe you believe it because you've seen other rockets eject their fuel tanks and watch them plummet at a free fall speed through the air, and not at all like a balloon. Or maybe you believe it because you've never seen any of these so-called astronauts approached in the modern day and asked about it. You see, belief is the enemy of knowing. And once you know that they probably faked the Challenger explosion because the moon missions were starting to look pretty suspect and they couldn't keep sending more and more moon missions under the suspicion that they were getting. And this tied a nice little bow on their reason to not be able to send people to space anymore. Because space, it's not really what you think it is. And the planet you think you live on, well, that's another story for another video. Just scroll on down if you're curious about that.
The crew of the Challenger space shuttle might still be alive. Okay, so the crew of the Challenger space shuttle might be alive. On January 28th, 1986, NASA launched a mission into space that would change the public's opinion on space travel forever. But about 73 seconds into the flight, the space shuttle broke apart and blew up, and all 7 crew members tragically died. Or did they? Apparently there was numerous reports indicating that the shuttle was going to fail. However, the mission still carried on, as if the catastrophe was meant to happen. But people began digging. They found a teacher named Sharon McAuliffe, a CEO named Richard Scobie, and many other people resembling the crew popped up with the same name, age, and looks. And the last 2 crew members, named Ronald McNair and Ellison Anazuka, coincidentally had twins. So do you think this crew lives, or are they dead?
Bro, thank you for making my point for me, even though you were trying to mouth off. It's pretty amazing. That's exactly what I'm saying. We've come so far technologically in all other realms, okay, that we haven't been back to the moon yet. We haven't been farther, haven't landed a man farther yet in 65 years. We don't have, vehicles that go out into space, travel around a little bit, come back down and land. Just constantly going out, monitoring, seeing things, doing science. But all these other things have happened, and more.
All right, you no longer have to take it from me. We'll go straight to the horse's mouth. Is the Bible from heaven? Is the earth a globe? By Alex Gleason. All right, we'll just start with the table of contents. Demonstrated evidence that the earth is not a globe. Webster's on straight curvature, etc. Encyclopedia Britannica on same. And I'm sure you're all familiar with Copernicus, right? The Copernican theory. He's the one that said the earth's a globe, right? The Copernican theory was admitted by him, Copernicus, to be merely assumption and not necessarily capable of demonstration. The following words are his. It is not necessary that a hypothesis should be true or even probable. It is sufficient that it leads to the result of calculation which agrees with the calculation. So in other words, if it fits the narrative, it must be true. And here's for all the globers that say we make up the 8 inches per mile squared stuff. We will notice another standard work in regard to this straight and curved line theory. The Encyclopedia Britannica says the amount of curvature or divergence from the vertical increases as the square of the distances. That the curvature of the earth is 8 inches for the first mile, 32 for the second mile, and so on. And then he goes over here and gives you this. But look at 100 feet. I don't know, maybe I'm Satan? And just to put a face with the name, there's old Alex Gleason, striking chap. Born in 1827, he died in 1909. Very much into astronomy and mathematics. And if you read his book, which I'm in the process of, a very intelligent man. So, yeah. So for all those saying that this isn't a flat earth map, there you have it.
This is an old map. Notice how the top is Asia. That's Shem. That's one of Noah's kids. See here? Look to the far right. It's India. Now, check this out. If you go to raremaps.com and type in Asia, you'll start to see all these old maps of Asia. And one just really stuck out to me. No, not only because it costs $25,000 for this map right here, but it looked really familiar to me. If you're in America, does this map look familiar to you as well? Well, let's take a look at her. Wow, that looks a lot like California. Maybe not, because, Christopher C. discovered California. Whoa, does that say Florida on an old Asian map? I thought Amerigo named America because he discovered it. You know? Why is that $25,000?
It kind of tipped it off for me was that being challenged in that sort of way, and then also like not believing in the moon landing before this, but then finding out like well, why do you believe that the Earth's a ball anyways? Well, because I got a picture of it. Here's the picture. Well, then you find out, wait a minute, supposedly they took that picture on the way to the moon. So you're like, all right, that's tough. That's a tough one for me now because I don't think they went. And then you look it up and it's like, no, that's not actually a real picture. And then you're like, wait a minute, all the pictures are not real. Yeah. So then you really have to decide. It's like, okay, so if I only really believe because of the pictures, the video, I don't believe it anymore. Okay, well now it's just like it's easy one for me. It's like I'll just believe what the Bible says.
Kind of explain why we're not getting to see these images live. The Apollo 11 landing was broadcast live. Why now don't we have the technology to see all of this live?
This ain't easy.
It's not easy. Space is hard, but the moon is harder.
And we're getting a picture on the TV. Got a good picture, huh?
He's on the moon.
And the second man is on the moon. Hey, you got it? That's a good step. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. Isn't that something?
We've just got a report from Poland, Czechoslovakia, and Romania that the picture quality there is very good.
Neil Armstrong getting ready to move the TV camera now out to its panorama position. Okay, as far as distance goes, Neil, and we'll line you up again when you finish the panorama. Tell me if you got a picture, Houston. Well, we got a beautiful picture, Neil.
In terms of more media release, yes, absolutely.
We're working towards improving that. Trying to get you surface photos, because I know that everyone's hungry for those surface photos. More cameras. The message is loud and clear. It would be great to get a picture. We have that in the works, so more great imagery from the moon.
Video and pretty pictures.
We're as eager to see those images as the public is.
Obviously, imagery, we love it. We want to share it as much as we can. We want to record it. But if we're having issues getting it off of the vehicle.
Unfortunately,
we just did not have time to go fix that.
It's going to take a little bit of time.
There is a capacity that we share, and we're being as transparent as we can here.
A little slower than we might have wanted.
Some hardware problems.
It's not pointing at Earth. Data flows out of mission control in a very sporadic way.
There are many other customers, science customers, that use the Deep Space Network. Actually slows the effort to share things with the team. And a number of issues with file transfers. We did have a number of communications glitches. We had either forward or return link problems.
Also during coast in the zero gravity of environment of space.
It's very difficult to transmit on the fly, if you will, and get that all the way back to Earth.
Struggle to get communications.
Unfortunately, they're going to be in the darkness. They will not be sunlit, so we won't get very good video of them.
Tip of the iceberg in its beginning, for people to realize, wow, this was an incredible success.
Not everybody can be a robot polisher.
People telling me how, like, oh, it's so funny that you keep saying that we landed on the moon, but we don't even have any pictures to prove it yet. And I'm like, yeah, it's because I don't need a picture to prove it, right? I don't need a picture. They all were saying how we were so dumb for believing it without any pictures. You're not always going to get pictures.
Over a dozen funnies on the list. Issues,
challenges,
glitches, phenomenon, problems,
idiosyncrasies,
anomalies.
At least they're actually getting things. They're actually getting footage. Why would they go out there and fake something and then go, oh, we accidentally snapped one of the legs and it's tilted over 30 degrees?
So that you can ask that question.
It makes it look more legitimate and authentic in a way. Same way with having the footage be poor, because it's like, well, if they were faking it, why wouldn't they make it look better? Well, actually, they wouldn't, because it's harder to tell that it's fake when it's not very good. If it was high definition and they really went all out, like Interstellar and stuff, you'd be able to figure it out. You would figure out that it's fake. You certainly can't do anything like that live. Secondly, it obviously gives them an excuse to not give you everything, right? Now you're not expecting as much because it tipped over. It wasn't completely successful. It's brilliant script writing to fake it, but to appease people as if they really landed on the moon.
It's just CGI and propaganda, selling it to the masses, blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh. Dude, they're not doing that good of a job at it, really.
Have you ever flown in an airplane, by chance? You can call it a closed system. We don't feel any exterior forces, okay? We don't feel the spin, we don't feel the orbit. No matter how fast it's orbiting, we do not feel it.
Oh, I get it. I totally get it now. Earth is traveling through space inside a giant pressurized airplane.
The Flat Earth map dates back over 1,000 years. This map is credited to being created by a Persian astronomer. His name was Al-Biruni, and he lived between 973 AD to 1048 AD. It's the official map of the United Nations and also the United States Geological Survey. It used to be present in many places before the creation of NASA and the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. Here you see it with Admiral Byrd. This map has been restored by Dmitry from Russia with suggestions of mine, Eddie Alenkar. Known by my YouTube channel Flat Earth Banjo, I asked Dmitry to include the Bermuda Triangle and Point Nemo, a place deep in the Pacific where NASA buries rockets. Then Robert Tozzi, a professional mapmaker, came along and enhanced the map even more. There are many people now selling this map online, but if you could order it from my online store, I would greatly appreciate it. Visit my online store now and order one of the items. I humbly thank you.